Speaking of live interviews and developing stories, we want to get to a story that we've been following for a while now. We had some developments this morning. I want to bring in WCNC Charlotte's Austin Walker. So I guess let me set it up for you. It's a lot. It's a lot. So we got a letter this morning from Mecklenburg County Sheriff Garry McFadden, and basically he calls this, quote, a missed opportunity and from ICE. And basically the whole situation stems from what he's calling miscommunication from ICE, and ICE saying a lack of cooperation from the sheriff's office. So break this down for us, Austin.
Yeah, so I'm going to try. So have you ever seen the meme that's the Spider-Man guy?
Yes.
Kind of pointing at each other? So
Of
it
course.
looks just like that. So it's kind of like a pointing the finger, he said moment to where really there's no idea of what the real information should be. But we do know the law. So I kind of want to back us up, though, to the beginning of March from when this kind of all started. So from March 1st to the 8th, 24 undocumented immigrants were arrested, and that was conducted by ICE. So I have a timeline to kind of break this down. So ICE claims that 6 of the 24 have active detainers, and Mecklenburg County Sheriff did not honor those. So this all just means basically there's a hold and a request from local authorities to hold them in custody. And now this practice has faced a lot of scrutiny and pushback, including some by Sheriff McFadden himself. Now the sheriff says this is correct, though, because the law is clear. He says he does not have the authority to hold them unless a judge said so. So a warrant has to be issued for any of those individuals. So this morning that letter did come through, and McFadden firing back at ICE. He says that ICE continues to, quote, mislead the public. Again, it's more of the pointing, the he said moment. And in that letter, McFadden also continues that timeline showing him how he tried to communicate with them when, where, and how. He asked for emails sent on March 18th, the 19th, and the 28th, asking one of the big things is, one, what are the intentions for these individuals, and two, he requested the names and basic information. So just kind of like the basic info. He says he didn't receive a single email back for multiple days, and when he finally asked once again, he was met with some pushback from ICE saying that should be a FOIA. For simple information, a FOIA normally is something that's a little bit more meat to it, things that could really sway an investigation or something, or a lot of sensitive details, but this is very much basic information. So there are questions now at ICE, why was it a FOIA when that information should be pretty much standard for those 6 people? Other than that, the letter then shifts to some pointed questions. It then kind of goes on to say, we should be focusing on 12,000 criminal cases here in Mecklenburg County, not just the 24 or 6 immigration questionings. He also says that 180 undocumented people were held in his detention center, extended for those 48 hours per the judge. I'm going to ask you, how much do you think that cost taxpayers?
I don't know.
$70,000.
Wow.
So taxpayers spent $70,000, is he alleging, on holding these individuals for those 48 hours granted by ICE and those judges. So this is all kind of stemming, lots of finger pointing back and forth, and some new information also today into our newsroom. The DOJ sent out a press release about those 24 individuals, the 6 people in question when those names were released. And at the very end, they thank a lot of departments in North Carolina and across the country for kind of helping them in this investigation. They name everybody from, marshals to even the CMPD, but in the list, the sheriff's office was not noted. So if McFadden helped them out, you would think that his name and their office would be listed underneath it, but in this case, it wasn't. So that adds more questions. So that leads us to right now, what the next step is for our news report at 5 and 6. We've reached out to Sheriff McFadden's office. They said they would do a Zoom interview with us, kind of going over all this information.
The sheriff himself, right?
So his PIO, Sarah, the information officer, said that sheriff would be free today. I'm still waiting back. It's 12:30. That text was sent out this morning at 10 a.m. So it's been 2.5 hours since I've heard from them thus far. Hopefully that Zoom interview we can answer these questions about exactly, these kind of fill in the blank. Why do you think the DOJ left y'all's information and agency off this list? You say you're helping out and following the law, but obviously there is some disconnect right here. And why is ICE, you think, isn't cooperating? And these are the main couple questions that we have right now. Obviously, too, we have reached out to ICE itself, the Atlantic office in question, also requesting the FOIA, because that's what they said to do. So we did request a FOIA for all of the emails sent from Sheriff McFadden to them, and the ones possibly that were sent back that we don't know about. We only know what this letter says, which is the hard part about this. So we're trying to get that information, news gather, and that's the beauty of WCNC Plus, is that we can give you this information real time right now, and as well as it's It's working at this point.
I just wanted to reiterate, this is a story that you're working on. Like, you took some time out of your day, a chunk out of your day to do this, to update us on Live Impact News, and like, you're still waiting for a text back.
Yeah, it's the worst. It's like you're waiting for them to reply, and you never know if they're going to at this point. But at 5 and 6, we're really going to try to break this down. I also did talk to Kevin Canty this morning, who is the former chief deputy, who, if you remember, I did multiple stories a few months ago. This is the chief deputy that left and resigned due to, quote, a hostile environment with Sheriff McFadden. And you'd have to imagine that there had to have been some conversations behind closed doors between Canty and also McFadden about what was said, cooperating with ICE, what it looked like. You know, talking to Canty today, he did tell me that there were minimal conversations when they did. It was more about the proceedings and logistics. It was never the fact that he didn't want to cooperate. It was what, HB 10, the House bill that we're talking about that now is law. It was kind of about how it was supposed to go. Because I think there's a lot of miscommunication on what you're supposed to do, not supposed to do, the answers that people have and the questions that people are not getting answered. I think a lot of different questions about that. So we'll see what happens at the end of the day.
Just breathe, Austin.
I'm trying.
Just breathe.
I mean, I feel like my mind is spinning about this, but I can imagine you at home also have these same questions and stuff.
It's an important story. Austin, thank you for taking time. I know you got to run, and you're busy. You got to hit deadline. So thank you again, Austin, for taking time to do this. Again, that is WCNC Charlotte's Austin Walker. To put it simply, communication issues between ICE and the Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office. Like Austin said, he said sort of situation that's going down. His report will be out 4, 5, and 6 o'clock this evening right here on WCNC Plus.